Hey everybody, it's Mark here. I had just some thoughts that I wanted to pass along that might be helpful as you look at the information on this group page. For those of you that are completely happy with where you are, rock on. If you are content with the status quo or life has been remarkably good to you, you're absolutely content with where life finds you, thanks for taking a little look at this, and we invite you to poke around and all you want. But I know this, I wore this apron for 4 years, 4 months, and 4 days. And I thought about that because the shirt that I have on was one that I used to wear quite often as a kitchen designer at Home Depot. And the 4 years that I spent in this apron, I was miserable. And so I just wanted to take a minute, and if that's the case for you, you're doing something that you don't like 85% of all global workers right now, Gallup poll indicated that 85% of everyone who wakes up every day and goes and punches a time clock or goes to trade time for dollars or yen or pounds or francs or euros, hate what they do every day. And they do that, we do that for 40 or 50 hours a week, and we do that for 40 or 50 years. And somehow that's called a life. Now, how is that? How is the fact that we hate what we do, 85% of us hate what we do, for 40 hours or 50 hours or 60 hours a week or more, for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years or more. That's no longer sustainable. The idea that you can go to school to get good grades, to get a good job and do that for the rest of your life, and that helps somehow be a plan. So I wanted to share some thoughts by a well-respected thought leader that I have adopted as a mentor, a man by the name of Zig Ziglar, who's no longer on the earth. I'm sure he's partying in heaven with a lot of the old school personal development leaders. But this was such a compelling conversation that Zig crafted around the idea of change and opportunity and looking at measures of success, what a life is supposed to look like, what a decision, some tools that could help us make a decision that would improve the quality and the quantity of this life that we're given. So I wanted to pass those along to you. And the first one is the question, am I happy? And the great thing about that question is you get to determine what that means. Happiness as you define it. For me, we came from a nonprofit background, and so we're not, we don't consider ourselves dollar chasers. But I can tell you that money is it's not a big deal if you don't have it. It's not like oxygen then. And so our happiness was largely predicated upon our ability to pay our bills, and our things like our marriage was being affected by this financial stress. So we weren't happy 9 years ago. This information on this page was incredibly important for changing that dynamic. But the first question is, are you happy? And if you're looking at something, i.e. the information that you're finding here, will the information, will making a decision along these lines make me happier or not? And if the answer is yes, would you take a look at it? Well, most people would say yes. Second question, is what I'm looking at potentially going to create a healthier version of me? Are you getting healthier now? Have you been healthy the last 3 to 5 years? And barring some sort of catalytic mechanism in your life, are you projecting to be healthier 3 to 5 years from now than you are today? Many people would say no. But if I could show you something that would create better health for you, not just in the next 3 to 5 years, but for a lifetime, with the potential of increasing the quality and quantity of your life, would that interest you? Most people would say yes. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? Third question, are you reasonably prosperous? And we're talking about primarily financial means here. I come from a background of ministry. We were missionaries with Youth with a Mission, or YWAM, as we're affectionately known all around the world. And it's a great nonprofit organization. The problem with nonprofit organizations is that they are inherently, by definition, nonprofit, right? And so people in my domain quite often will say something like, well, Mark, thank you for sharing a business opportunity with me, but I'm not terribly motivated by money. And I understand what they're saying, but I know exactly where they are. And I can predict that most of their marital stress, relational stress, comes from anxiety over lack of resources, money. What if we could shift that focus off of ourselves and our own financial needs, and we could focus on helping other people? with their financial needs, with their resources, with their ability to go and do and perform and execute the things that God's asked them to do, rather than just focusing on ourselves and paying our bills and putting food on our table, right? What if we could create more resources for you to go do the things that you feel strongly about doing in this thing called life? Would that be something you might be interested in? Most people would say yes. Number 4, how's your sense of security? If you work for the government or you are working in a retail environment, bless your heart. I kind of have a feeling for you, because I was in that world. I was watching guys with lots of tenure, master electricians, master plumbers, and Home Depot was my particular perspective every day. Home Depot was encouraging them to no longer work there. They did not want to pay full-time benefits. They did not want to pay a master plumber $30 an hour when they can pay a 21-year-old $15 or $16 an hour and carry a smartphone or some sort of smart device and help customers in the aisles with knowledge that was available online that only before then master plumbers or master electricians used to have, or contractors, right? And so that's happening. And with the advent of e-commerce, online marketing, people are building businesses from their home, from their home office, from their lazy boy chair. And people aren't shopping at those big box retailers anymore. So how's your sense of security? If I could show you something that would create more security for you and your family, not just in your lifetime, but for generations, to create a financial engine, would that interest you? And most people would say, yeah, if you could show me how to do that, I would be very interested to hear that. Number 5, how are your friends? How are your friendships? And in my domain, we have a saying, actually it comes from scripture. It says, he who walks with the wise becomes wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. In business, in our network of leadership and personal development, we have this mantra that we become like the average of the 5 people with whom we associate the most. We become like the people we hang around. If you want to get fit, you hang around fit people, right? If you want to get rich, you hang around rich people. If you want to get smart, you hang around smart people. You want to get fat, you hang around fat people. You see how it goes. And generally speaking, that principle applies fairly universally. So let me ask you this. Are you surrounded by people who believe in you more than you believe in yourself? Are you surrounded by people who are emotionally investing in you, who are supporting your goals and ambitions, the dreams that you have set for you and your family? Do you have a support system of friends that are encouraging you to develop yourself into the best version of yourself? For me, that actually means looking more like Jesus, right? Being a better father, being a better husband, being a better friend. Do you have that circle of influence known as friends? Or do you have people that are negative or cynical or skeptical or critical? What if, let me ask you this, if I could develop a filter that would separate the skeptical, negative, emotional vampires from your life, the people that drain you emotionally every time you get around them, I could remove those people to a large degree from your life, and I could replace them with people who believe in you, people who foster a sense of affirmation and encouragement and value for you, people who believe in you more than you believe in yourself. What would that filter be worth for you if we indeed become like the 5 people with whom we associate the most? What would that be worth? Some people would say that would be priceless, right? Exactly. Peace of mind. I travel quite a bit these days, and I'm in airports and public spaces, and I can tell you it's like the night of the living dead out there. And largely because people, they have no peace of mind. Their faces are fraught with anxiety. And 9 years ago, when I was wearing that orange apron, I was the guy staring in bed or laying in bed, staring at the ceiling fan going, Lord, this ain't working. I'm working 2 full-time jobs and we're not making it. Something's got to give here. And I was a wreck. What if I could show you something that would create stability, peace of mind, peace in your family, in your home? What would that be worth? Most people would say, absolutely, I'd be keen to hear about that. How about your good family relationships? Here's the bummer about families. We are associated with a particular paradigm on how our lives ought to go. Life happens, childhood wounding, the whole thing. We have loads of baggage generationally that we bring into the present. And quite typically, we get stuck in a family paradigm of wealth or debt, how our lives are supposed to look. The problem is sometimes that your family does not want to believe that you could transcend the mitigating factors that have caused failure in your family. So what if, just a hypothetical, what if you could be the curse breaker for generations in your family? What if you could be the one that actually broke the cycle of debt? It broke the cycle of poverty or addiction or whatever. What if we could show you a way to escape the matrix and then lead others in your family outside of the self-limiting perspective that they have been operating in? What if we could do that? Most people would say, yeah, I'd be interested to hear about that. The last one, I think this is what, number 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9. Hope for the future. Zig Ziglar used to say, if you don't have hope, you don't have anything. And I mentioned the light of the living dead. The people out there are, you can look at it on their faces, they are devoid of hope. What kind of life are they living? But conversely, I find these unicorns, these remarkable people who actually not only have hope in their hearts, but it transfers to their face. How do I know? Because they're smiling. There's a twinkle in their eye. And those people shine like beacons in a dark night. And those are actually the people that I'm looking for. Those are the people I want to hang around. Those are the people that I want to work with for a long, long time. Right? So if we could show you how to generate a greater sense of hope that tomorrow could actually be better than today, would that interest you whatsoever? If so, if the answer to any or all those questions are yes, you are in the right place. This Facebook group has been formed to help you go through a process of identifying if this information is helpful in any one of these 9 areas of life: physiologically, mentally, emotionally, financially, personally, through your development, your relationships. And I think there's a huge spiritual component as well. So that's the purpose of this group. I just wanted to pass that along from my dear friend, mentor, thought leader, and hopeful someday friend, Mr. Zig Ziglar. Bye for now, everybody. Take care.